letting my light become yours.
So, hi. Um, can you tell us a little bit about, or tell me a little bit about yourself, like your career, your highlights?
Um, Man, I'm the third. I'm a rapper and a teacher from the South Side of Chicago. Born and raised. Um, Started writing when I was about like 10 or 11. And Started recording music probably when I was about 13 or 14. And just decided to like keep picking it up. A lot of my like influences, inspiration for like, you know what I'm saying, my foundation for music and my appreciation for hip hop is probably be people like Mos Def, Common, uh, and a lot of like, of course, like Chicago legends that I kind of, you know what I'm saying, I grew up listening to and watching. Um, yeah, now I'm here. You know what I'm saying, I'm doing my best to get you know what I'm saying, influence as many people as possible with my work, and just make a difference.
That's awesome. Okay. So what makes you passionate about your music and sharing your crafts?
Um, I think everybody has a story to tell. Everybody has a story to tell, and I think there's a way in which we all can utilize our platform to inform people. Um, and so whenever when I realized I have something to share, when I realize I have a story or perspective that is unique, or even just something that my like people who listen to me don't have, I just got encouraged to go ahead and share that. Realizing how much influence I have as an artist, as a rapper specifically, like I realize that I can change people's lives and motivate people and encourage people with my music. And so, like, realizing that I have that type of platform, that type of influence, kind of like drives me to do more and more as much as I can.
Okay. I have listened to some of your music. Um, Based off of what I heard, I really like it. It's really positive, inspirational messages. Um, Personally, I don't usually listen to like the rap that's out now because it it's kind of negative and draining. And I'm a spiritual person, so I look at it like as what you put into your body, like what you listen to. I don't know, it's kind of like you projecting that into your reality. So I try to listen to as much positive music as I can. Like when I listen to music, I listen to the message, not just the beat or like the background music, like how it sounds, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
So
Totally.
kudos to you. Kudos to you.
So much.
um, so I did do some research, and I discovered that you were a part of a non-for-profit called Broadway Belly Boo. Am I wrong?
So yeah, I actually literally like 2 weeks ago, I was just in New York for the first time, and we I was performing with the organization, who invited me to come out and perform at their festival, like in like, I want to say like April, like around like March or April. It was definitely in April, and I'm like, I like realized like, hey, like this is something I enjoy doing. I had never been in contact with those people before, and they invited me out, and we had a show in New York. Went amazing. Everybody in there was fire. The the venue was packed out, and so we kind of figured out like, yeah, this is something we want to keep doing. We want to do more work with the organization and great people. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to all the people people in the org and a part of the foundation, the build up of the organization. Really good people, really, really good people.
Okay. So I'm assuming that you would recommend it to other artists. Um, would you recommend it to artists who are just now starting out in their career or who already have been performing?
I would recommend it to any artist. I think
Any
that
artists?
yeah, Broadway Belly Boo is an amazing organization based out of New York, and they have a collective of artists, and not even just like musicians and artists, but they also have just a collective of creative minds that have a
Hmm.
vision for um, collaborative progression. So
Okay.
like this is, you know what I'm saying, this is something that I want to do, but it's also a goal and an aspiration that I share with this person who's also going to help me and contribute as much as they can with the platform that they have to move us forward. And that's
Okay.
like I literally like I couldn't ask for like a better vision. Like, you know what I'm saying, to be a part of something like that.
Hello? The third? Your screen froze. Okay. Yeah, it's better now. Oh, wait, but I can't hear you though.
It's just crazy.
Okay, I can hear you now.
Okay. So yeah, I would definitely suggest everybody get in tune with Broadway Bailey Blue. They're amazing. Um, they really great work. Really great work.
Um, do you think you could maybe summarize like what you got out of it? Or like
Um,
what you think an artist who would like to join, what they could possibly get out of it, being a
so
part of it?
I am not a part of
Oh, you
the
just performed.
yeah, I just performed as part of it as a part of the fest. I think that building into the behind the scenes is something I'm interested in, and we talked it out before. Um, but I would say, as far as like artists who want to be in tune with what they're doing in New York, do it. I think the best thing for artists to do is to travel and to figure out what's going on outside of their block, like outside of their crib, like get comfortable elsewhere, find spaces elsewhere where people are trying to do the same thing as you, just in a different spot. Um, and just figure out what's new. You know what I mean? They're an amazing like organization to get in tune with. And they're super like team oriented, like very family oriented. That like that type of like spirit you can't get in a whole lot of places. So
Right.
I would say definitely make sure you get in tune with them. And yeah, please do. Now, organization I am a part of and that I am on the board of is the John Wall Foundation, and that's here based in Chicago. And they
Okay.
also do a lot of great work here.
Can you explain what exactly that organization is and what it's about?
Yeah, so the John Wall Foundation was started by Saba and Nichelle, who are two amazing people. Two amazing people. Been really great and really influential in my life for the last few years. And this organization is for supporting young artists who have goals that they want to reach and need the guidance or the support in order to get there. So every year we have a scholarship fund that we allow people to artists to apply to, where they can get a financial scholarship and support to make sure that they can continue and push their artistry and whatever they do. So we've had any assortment of like clothes designers, photographers, rappers, poets,
Oh,
videographers, we've had some of everybody come through that space, painters, like, and so what we in 2019, I won the scholarship for that year, and just opened my world up to so many different. The financial support was great. It was amazing. But I think more importantly, I got in tune with so many different people who are able to help me get the guidance to where I want to be.
Right.
I have a very strong passion and very strong like idea of what I want to do and how on what level I want to do it at. And there were people that I was made available to, or that made themselves available to me, that like have already achieved, you know what I'm saying, that level of like production, or that level of like platform that I want, and are able to tell me like, hey G, like this is the best way to do this. Matter of fact, even in spaces where they're like, I don't know how to do this very well, but I know somebody, I'm gonna text them and send you their number. Like that type of thing, like just be able to have those resources and build those connections. I feel like it's even more important than the bread. You know what I'm saying? A lot of cases
Right.
where these are little people I can talk to, and people who give me their time, which we all know is like way more valuable than money, right? Because you can't get
Right.
that back. Have people give me their time and your resources to be able to be like, hey, like I believe in what you're doing. And even in places where like I don't know you from Adam, but this person believes in what you're doing, so I'm going to go ahead and make sure that you get to where you want to be. Absolutely fire. I couldn't have asked for a better experience being part of the John Wall Foundation. And then it wasn't even like, I don't know, it was even like 2 years after that I end up being end up being a board member. So now I'm into like all the behind the scenes of how this goes. I'm going through applications for other scholars. I'm like involved in event coordination. We just had our 5th annual dinner the other day.
Oh,
Like, yeah, 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago, I want to say. And it was great. I absolutely loved having all the people that I've been able to meet and new people in that space, and to share and to commune and to celebrate um, collaborative progression. Yeah, yeah.
so if any artists or creatives, if they wanted to join, like how could they apply?
Oh, most definitely. So keep your eye out for follow the John Wall Foundation Instagram page, and on Facebook if you're there, and we'll always have updates for events. Come to the events. People always ask me like, "Oh, how can I get in tune?" Come to the events. We just had the book bag drive last month. We had so many different events that we're doing for the community, mostly based on the West Side, but we move around and like to be able to share space there, figure out how you can help there and assist and just watch what we do. And I think there's a lot of space for artists and new people to come through and find their spot in how we give back and how we operate in the city. I say it's super easy. The applications for scholars will be coming up. We just got our new scholars for this year, so they'll be coming up in the next on next term. And yeah, until then, we'll have plenty of events for people to come through and support. John Walt Day is always like a fire day all the time. So yeah, please stand tuned.
Okay. Um, oh, what keeps you focused? Like focused on reaching your goals.
What keeps me focused? I think I got 3 things. My first thing is I truly believe I believe this with all my heart that God had this profession that I'm in right now as an artist, as a rapper, as my
Calling.
calling. That's exactly a perfect word. Yeah, like that's that. I truly, honestly believe that this is where I'm supposed to be. And so, what I'm saying, believing in being like rooted in my faith, and also having like every intention of making sure that I'm being the light that I've been called to be, is like always on the front of my mind. So even in times where I don't feel like it, or at times where I'm not like motivated to do like what I'm, I'm saying, what I'm to continue in my art, right? I always have that. Always have that. Another thing is I'm super competitive. I'm very competitive. That's something I like to say like out loud.
It's nothing wrong with that.
Um, but I'm very competitive. And so with that being said, like other artists like in around me keep me like involved, like keep me going. There've been a couple days where I'm like, I'll just go ahead and cool it on like making music today, or like writing today, or what I'm saying. And I write every day, and sometimes there'll be days where I'm like, I'm gonna relax a little bit, and then I see like, what I'm saying, my peers just being great at what they do. You know what I'm saying? My homie Femdot is another like amazing Chicago artist that does not seem to miss ever. Assad, great artist. I was just in the studio with MF Mello from Pivot Gang, and like these are all people who like I watch do what they do in their what I'm saying, in their field, and I just be like, I need to do more. I need to do better. What I'm saying? Like I need to keep going. You know what I'm saying? If I'm gonna stay on par or excel. You know what I mean? Because that's the intention. It's progression, and also like I like to win. I like to win. I like to make sure that I'm on par with the best of what's around me. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's like one of the things I pay attention to a lot. It's just, I'm inspired by my peers. I think the last thing is my students. My mentees, that I what I'm saying, meet and have in the spaces that I teach in or mentor in, are always like are always kind of like a motivational way to say, like, if I stop growing, if I stop learning, if I stop, what I'm saying, trying, their feel like their growth of their education is being stunted by my like lack of motivation, my lack of progression. Because every day, weekly, there are things that I'm learning, that I learn new, that I've been trying to teach them, and they think I've been on this and not put them on. But I'm like, I'm also just learning this too. You know what I mean? So now I'm turning around and being able to teach them. And if I stop pushing, if I stop getting better, there's becomes like a ceiling for how good they can be, because I'm in charge of their growth, right?
Yeah.
So that's a thing for sure. They always keep me, and it's the funny thing is, most of my students don't know I rap.
Really?
I make music. They have no idea. I'm a pretty good writer. They know that, but they have no idea that I have like a full like rap career. Um, and what I'm saying, there are times where I'm like not at work, is because I might be working on my career. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, if they ask, what'd you do for your weekend? I'm like, I was in a whole nother state selling out a venue. You know what I mean? Like, they have no idea. But even still, I'm like, I know where I want them to be, and in order for me to get them there, I have to be on point. So those are my three things that keep me, what I'm saying, on point, keep me going.
Okay. Oh, okay. So what helped you grow into your individual style? Or is that your brand? Is that just something that you just always had in you? Or did you like grow into it?
So I definitely, I wouldn't say I always had it. It was always there. I just had to go and like achieve it and make it real. Like I said, I grew up. My father's a poet.
Mm.
So like I grew up, he would run around with his peers and his homies to open mics all the time. He would take me with him since I was like little, like single digits. And there'd be spaces where I'm like heavily influenced by these older artists. And so like I have like these, what I'm saying, I'm growing up inspired by like Common and Kanye. Lecrae was another huge like inspiration for me. A lot of these artists, Lupe Fiasco, like a lot of these artists where I'm like, fam, like I know exactly who I like. I know what type of music I enjoy listening to. And there was like a period of time where I feel like I was just copying. No, I feel like it was definitely happening. I was copying these artists, like off just the delivery, like the even some of the like the word usage, like that was way beyond me at a certain point. But like I was literally just copying the blueprint.
Well,
And then
sometimes
sure,
you have to copy so you can learn how to do it on your own, like in your own way, if that makes sense.
yeah. So where else I was like, yo, like there's a time where I'm like, what I'm saying, Nas was getting like copy, like word for word, bar for bar, and then I'm like, okay, now I got the delivery down. I know what I like about this artist. Now let's figure out where I place into it. A huge, like really pivotal moment for me was Common has a song called The Corners. I believe Kanye is on it, and The Last Poets, and the music video, if I remember right, takes place on like 47th and King Drive, like literally a
Hmm.
drive like away from where I'm at now, and not super far from where I was when I first heard it. And I was like, that's super familiar, like, and like the way he rapped about like his surroundings, and like one of the books talks about like writing what's under our nose, like being something that like that's real to us, like to make it a thing that can be real to other people through our writing and through our art, right? So seeing that, and I was like, yo, like this is not about like any of the typical things that like rappers rap about. Is also very real, and it's also not specific to Common and like what he's experienced, but also like very like I know that spot. You know what I mean? Like what I'm saying, like taken the train over there. Like I'm like in a space where I'm like, that's what I want to do. Like I want to write about real experiences that are personal to me, but also something I know for certain that somebody who's listening to me can identify with. That's what I want to do. Like that's all I want to do. And so at that point, I was like, okay, how can I take my personal experiences and my like growth and my like learning and make it music? And I think that's what kind of made my music like that's how I kind of like carved out my space in like how I create music. A lot of what makes me like Thethird is like me taking my time with how I define or how I describe in detail different experiences and different like what I'm saying trains of thought.
Okay. Where do you find places to perform?
Um, that's a great question. I know places that I like to perform at. I usually enjoy, believe it or not, I enjoy smaller, intimate shows and venues, rather than like the big ones. So like, when I dropped my first project, I went and was trying to figure out where I was going to have a release party at, where I could perform some of these songs and share with people before it dropped. And the Silver Room is a black-owned boutique in Hyde Park that I really
Hmm.
enjoy walking through, and knowing Eric, and like knowing people through that space. I was like, hey, yeah, like I want to perform here. Like I want to, what I'm saying, create a space here, people to come through and listen to my work. and we made it happen there. Um, I've since performed at a lot of different venues across the city, where I've had like I wasn't a part of the original bill, but I've had like homies who are performing, and they're like, "Do you want to be on this lineup with me where I'm going to perform there?" So like that's another thing is like my networking is like getting to know people who are in charge of these spaces.
Okay.
The Promontory is another place I like. I performed at maybe twice. Neither time I was a part, it was like a solo show or anything like that. I was definitely a part of or opening up for uh another group of people, and it was always cool to just be able to like have that, to be able to like contact venues and contact artists who are going up on stage and being like, hey, is there space to contribute to this show, to perform? And that's mostly how or there are also like them blessings where I just get a random email from somebody I've been watching for a while, or like the venue I've always been performing at and just never like gotten a chance to, and they'd be like, hey, like we heard about you, you're doing good stuff, you want to come perform here? I'm like, oh, most definitely, for sure. um but yeah, it's that's definitely work. It's definitely work.
Okay. Well, I guess I have one more question. So I feel like you in your own lane as far as like rap, like how I said in the beginning, like I don't know. It seems to me like a lot of rap that be on the radio, it talks about negative stuff, but like versus your rap, it has a meaning, it has purpose. So I don't know what I'm trying to ask. Like, or can you give like some advice to other rappers? Like how can they express their rap in the same way that you do, like in a positive way, and still know that they have like an audience that they can attract instead of like copying what's normally heard, if that makes sense,
Yeah.
just to get quick fans or a quick audience, or not even saying that just because they rap about stuff that's on the radio or similar to what's on the radio will get them like fans quicker. Not saying that that might happen, but
Yeah. So I think here's the thing that I have to emphasize first before anything else is that like it's really important to rap to what's or to create in general to what's true to you. Because if it's not like we've seen artists like we've seen these type of artists where we can tell this is not you for real.
right.
Especially in Chicago, G, we don't play about what we call flashing. Like we don't do the pseudo nothing. Like everything has to be real, has to be authentic. And people are gonna appreciate you at whatever quality that you create at because of your authenticity. Like I know some not super great art. I was trying to find like a nice way to say it, but like I know some artists who are not that great quality wise at like what they do, but like I 100% know like all of this is real. They're very true to themselves. It's very real. So I say that's the first thing. Second thing is when you think about long term, I would say always think about long term. That's something that a lot of us don't take the time to do. Something I forget to take the time to do sometimes. Think about the long term. What type of effect and influence do you want to have on the people around you? What type of energy do you want to get from people, and put that out? Whenever you have a message for people or you have a platform for people to hear what you have to say, think about the fact that people can very possibly be influenced by what you have to say. And what type of influence do you want to put out into the world? What type of this sounds really cliche, but like I said, like what type of energy do you want to put out where people know you for that thing? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Take the time to make sure that you're putting out exactly what you want to get. And once you do that, I think people will take a lot more time with their art. They'll show a lot more care to the art that they put out. They'll show a lot more care and take a lot more time with the art that other people put out that they're intaking, right? And like you mentioned earlier at the beginning, like you're going to be very selective about what you listen to and what you hear and what you don't listen to, based on that type of feel. Like, hey, like I don't want my whole thesis and my whole like main point, my whole message to be like um violence, or like, you know what I'm saying, or like I don't want my whole thing to be like spin the block, or I don't want my whole thing to be like, you know what I'm saying, whatever your thing is, right? Um think about how you want people to understand you, to be influenced, and think about like your overall like ability to change the area that you're in. I think that's a thing that rappers do best out of some of anybody, is change a mood. We could set a mood real fast, real fast. I've seen it. I've seen just the other week, last Tuesday, I was at a show at a Sub T, seeing an artist go up, did an amazing set. They're more of like a neo soul R&B artist, and then right after that, was like OG Steve-O. OG Steve-O, I don't know if you're familiar with Steve-O, but he's like very high energy, like good music. You know what I mean? And he would have the whole like right, literally we were all like swaying back and forth and like chilling, and then we was like jumping up and down, and niggas are like getting loud, and I'm like, yeah, exactly. Like we can do that. Now think about that, like how quickly you have influence over the people that are listening to you and watching you. And think about what type of, it's gonna sound really like,
Just say it.
type of world that you want to see. What type of world do you want to see around you? And think about what are the best ways I can influence that type of world and shoot toward that. And I
Right.
promise you're going to see a lot of people change the way that they not only put out work, but intake work, more importantly. So yeah, that's my long short answer.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for being a guest on my podcast. Um, our Zoom is about to it's about to cut off. So we're gonna have to end this meeting. But yeah, thank you.
Thank you for reaching out. I appreciate that. These are really good questions. Really good questions.
I do have some more questions to ask you personally, but I'll just hit you up on Instagram.
Yeah, we can make that happen. Please do anytime.
Okay.
For sure.
All right. Thank you.